YouTube, welcome to the top 16 of the Meta Weekly with the new pack day, Tier 0 Maliss. I know a lot of you are not happy with the game, but if you could support me, I would greatly appreciate that. Just have me on in the background or the Twitch and YouTube. You don't have to log in game, you don't have to spend money in game. Stick it to Konami, force them to make change, but please support me in the meantime. That'd be great, because I could tell you Konami does not care on whether you support me or not. All right, thank you very much. Hajime.
There can only be one winner. And you're looking at it. Let's go.
Gem Knight versus Ryzeal. Why are these two mad lads coping with a non-Maliss deck? Well, let's find out. Many of you heard that Gem Knight was a turn 2 deck. That's how it was prevalently being played in the TCG with top in tournaments. But we have Kid Art using the strategy of mixing Fiendsmith with Gem Knight, essentially turning a turn 2 deck like Tenpai. We've seen Fiendsmith with Tenpai being played wanting to go first, and that is exactly what's happening. When we are getting the coin flip in our favor, Kid Art is in fact choosing to go first. We have Imperm negating the sequence, preventing the fusion from Engrave. And now that you used your hand trap on the Fiendsmith combos, we can now start off with the Gem Knight plays. What do we have engraved? Do we have the Hollow Core? Hollow Core is gone, unfortunately, which is a negate anything while in graveyard. Beyond that, we have Masquerena into a double Little Knight Banish. We have Baguska to force every non-link into defense and negate it. We have the Apollo, which could double monster negate. That's 5 forms of disruption. And I'm not sure if this will be a disruption. This will, during the main phase, summon a Gem Knight onto the field. And during the opponent's turn, I don't think we're going to be able to disrupt them with the Gem Knight. 5 disrupt. 7 Tachyon. Let's search our deck for the X Ryzeal. X gonna give it to you. Now, when you're playing Ryzeal yourself, you have a way to make the Baguska untargetable from the aggregator, and we don't have that. We're not afforded that. And it could also chainlink block it. Aggregator on the lower chainlink, X Ryzeal on the higher, no negate on the aggregator, and now Baguska is negated. We are... Oops, right? This does not need to be Apollo'd. It's on the higher chain link, so when it resolves, Baguska is not negated. So the X Ryzeal would have already been negated. We lose a negate for free. And then the aggregator would negate. Okay, he misclicked. He said it in chat. It is a misclick, chat, everyone. Now, let's Apollo. Negate the sword. Let's further go into the Little Knight. Little Knight on summon, banish a card on the field or engrave. Miru has not committed to a normal summon. We still have normal summon barrel. And we're going to chain Little Knight, banish away the barrel, as we're going to be setting up the Lordy Load from the deck. Lordy Load is here. We still have the effect of the Gem Knight Dispersion to summon a Gem Knight from the extra deck, but again, it's not going to be a form of disruption. We have Drill Beam. In the main phase, why would you do this? During the main phase, I could jump off the field. I'm going to activate this in the main phase, but when you could jump off the field, what the? That made no sense. Okay. Did we have to force it off the field for some reason? Does it have another effect? When your Gem Knight fusion is destroyed, while this is engraved, you get reborn. It had no on-field effect besides the effect of jumping off the field whenever you want. What the heck? Did we like bait him? Like, gotcha, I forced you to activate an effect to search for a follow-up mate. Aqua Mador is here. Everyone's making Baguska. Baguska is no longer plan B, it is plan A. We do have Little Knight already on the field, but the Little Knight's not going to be able to banish the Baguska. Thus, we're going to further link into the Sprint. All non-links are forced into defense and are negated. Let's reborn the Engraver. Let's further activate the Sprint. Wow, that was good. Sprint. If another monster is special summoned, and it could be your opponent or your own monster, you could then detach a material from an Xyz, then target a monster on the field and return to the hand. We triggered Sprint with our own Engraver to detach off our own Baguska to return back their Baguska. Very well done. That was wonderful. Engraver is stuck in defense because of the Baguska. 8,500 damage, additional normal summon, and just like that, Gem Knight taking a Game 1 victory over Ryzeal Primite. I saw Ryzeal Primite do very well in our TCG tournament, but we're back to Master Duel. Ice, Ryzeal, Ash, negate the ice. Well, we have the super negate, we have a pop, 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 we have a negate, and we have the impermanence. We have about 6 forms of disruption. Are we gonna finger the call? Yes, we're gonna finger it, but will we negate the finger? Desiree says, nah. I ain't negating that finger. I'll negate something better. We got 6 disrupts. Any card in the field we can negate. Hollow Core, we can negate that with the field spell, and we do. 5 more negates. Neprim on summon, we could Desiree negate if we want, grab a Dispersion. Dispersion is requiring the Gemini Fusion, which is sent there by cost. Even though we negated the Hollow Core, we could fuse with the deck. Desiree negate. 4 more disruptions. We have pop, pop, pop plus imperm negates. Let's crash our Neprim. Is that a good thing? To banish the Neprim to grab back the Gemini Fusion. Okay. Well, game number 3. Hollow Core, send the Gemini Fusion, summon from the hand, Dispersion. We can search our deck. The other Dispersion could then fuse. Now, do we have the Hollow Core negate engrave? The Hollow Core is in fact engrave. It does have the effect of when your opponent activates anything, while you control a Gemini Fusion, we have 2 of them, we can negate that effect, not destroy it, but then Geminites gain 1000 attack. We don't care about that, so negate from the grave. We have negate any card in the field, up to 2 of them. We have triple monster negate with the Apollo USA. That's 5 forms of disruption. Good luck. We can't target the Desiree with an aggregator. We can target the Apollo though. Apollo, negate. The engraver effect to search for attract. Sure. Aqua Mador. Aqua Mador. Typhon is here. Plan L, ready to just take out at least the Apollo. Desiree is still activatable. It's not 3000 attack or higher. Now, the Aqua Mador is a wizard of the waters that conjures a liquid wall to crush enemies that oppose him. Really? That's crazy. Tract is going to be searching for our Lurie. Is this the end for Ryzeal? We didn't make any Ryzeal plays. What the heck? Let's reborn back onto the field our Lurie. Let's make our Requiem. Engraver could very simply get rid of the Typhon as we summon the Engraver from the deck, equip the Requiem, send the Requiem, goodbye to the Typhon. Open field, just like that, 9600 damage. Plugin is going to reborn the Typhon, or at least attempt to do so, as the Desiree negates the effect to reborn mate. Negate the plugin. And just like that, Gem Knight advances to the top 8 after defeating Maliss Tier 0 within the early rounds and now crushing Ryzeal, Fiendsmith, Primite. Maybe we had a 4th engine in there, we just didn't get to it yet. 2-1 victory. Dormouse activate to banish from the deck. Imperm, negate. Negate anything, non-target banish, non-target banish. We have the Ash effect. Let's see what we could do against that. We're going to activate the Fire King Island as we're now in response to the Fire King Island effect to pop the Kieran and search our deck. We're going to Cryptor, non-target, banish away the Fire King Island. The island now activates to wipe away our monsters. There's no monsters to wipe, and we tried. We used Imperm, we used Impulse, we used our combo starter, and the Kieran unfortunately was not able to extend without another fire in hand. Okay. Let's hop in a game. Number 2, Sniffus is going first. Begin. We're going to start this off with the legendary Ponix searching for the Skyburn, since we already have the Fire King Sanctuary, activating to play the Fire King Island, pop the Ponix, search for the Kieran, trigger the Garunix, summon itself onto the field, pop a card from the deck. The Alcanix, when popped, will summon for the deck a level 8 Garunix. Now, this may seem quite basic, right? And Shouldn't more decks be like this? It was quick. We still have a decent amount of disruptions. We didn't have to sit there for 10 minutes. On a special summon, we're going to trigger the Sanctuary to Xyz with our field into a monster that destroys all other monsters. That is pretty damn cool and unique. Now, beyond that, we have Impulse negate a special summon effect. We have Valor negate a monster effect. We have Skyburn, which could pop multiple cards in the field. We have Kieran effect, which could non-target pop a card in the field. You have about 5 forms of disruption. Onyx add back. We have the activation of the Maliss and Underground, which we could have chained the Skyburn to pop it. We're going to hold. We're going to instead Impulse whatever you banish, stopping the effect of Dormouse to special summon. We're now down to 4 forms of disruption. Now, Sabori has to know, on special summon, we'll trigger the Sanctuary to wipe away all other monsters on the field. Chessie doesn't have a quick nor trigger effect, so on summon, this could be the moment to stop them from drawing 2 cards to just wipe this out. We're doing it. That's the play. That's the way. Into Hayang of the Fire Kings, activating on summon to wipe the field. Now we're going to follow up with the White Rabbit. We're not going to chain Valor onto the Rabbit. We could still use it. The Impulse was using the back row, so the Impulse did not turn off the use of Valor. The Lingeribo would be locking down a back row trap if there was one. We do have Valor to negate the backup Ignister, saving Valor. Instead of using it on the White Rabbit, the first activation of an effect, they knew that eventually something like Backup Ignister would be coming. We're now going to use the Kieran to pop the Rank 8 Xyz. The Rank 8 Xyz is going to trigger to reborn the Volcanics and Garunix, as we're now going to be popping a card and searching. We're going to pop from the deck an Arvata, and now this gives us an additional disruption. What we had was 5 forms of disruption. We now have a total of 6 by gaining access to the Arvata through the effect of the Kieran to reborn it back in the field after we send it from the deck to the grave with the effect of Garunix by destroying it. We're going to have an additional monster negate on top of this pop mate. So let's simplify the disruptions once we resolve this chain. March Hare is chain banishing, Ponix is chain summoning itself onto the field. We're about to non-target. We don't tell them until resolution what we want to destroy. And it's not until the Kieran resolves. Not yet. Now, we destroy anything. We're gonna go for the back row GWC. Wait, I wanna activate it, it's too late. On resolution, we choose. Now, what we have left is we could pop up to 5 cards on the field. Well, there's 4. We could pop 4 if we want. And we also can Arvata negate any monster effect. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're popping 4. 4 cards for 4 cards. That is a huge Skyburn. And still having a monster negate afterward. That is the world champion difference. Let's go. Parelia, great against Ryzeal, and I guess now with them having March Hare, Backup, and Wizard, plus their normal summon, Parelia can be, I guess, decent against Maliss too. Now, of course, they don't have to commit to the backup, which they likely won't. We're going to Dominus Impulse, get negated by Crossout Designate. Negate the effect of negating my special summon effect. Now, Kieran, is this a disruption here? We pop Kieran, Kieran triggers a summon of Fire King, then destroy a card in the field, right? Would that be cheating? Let's see that. If destroyed, special summon a Fire King, destroy 1 card in the field, but you can't summon another Kieran. So it's not actually a disruption because this literally could have been any other Fire King, and this would have been, I mean, we would then need a way to destroy the Kieran, of course, but yeah. We're out of disrupt. And, I mean, they are under the effect of Parelia. Add from the deck, trigger binder, reborn, draw a card, March Hare, banish the MTP. Let's go into the Cryptor here. Cryptor is going to be alongside the MTP. We could return it back after banishing something and then reset the MTP through the White Rabbits. We're going to have 2 non-target banishes to at least have to deal with here. We did not draw into a starter. We have no play. What the hell? Imperm to Cryptor. If they GWC summon to where the Cryptor's pointing to, this negate does nothing. It will still be able to activate and banish. Normal the Valor into the Anima. We're going to give it a good suck, at least attempt to do so. And by summoning to where it's pointing to, the Cryptor could now very simply, even when already preemptively being negated, still not be negated. Crazy effect. What the heck? You literally see the negated cross on it, and it didn't matter. Kieran, pop Kieran. Kieran doesn't trigger because there's no Fire King to reborn. Let's Typhon, non-target, bounce away the Cryptor. It's a battle, at least we could take out the Red Ransom. And then we have Impulse. And we're using it. There you go. We have a Trap and Grave. We do have the Impermanence, thus the March Hare will not be usable again on the next turn unless we get another copy. We have a Starter Extender, a Starter Extender. So we literally have 3 different starters with 2 extenders. Great. Banish a White Rabbit, set up MTP. While Sniffus had 0 starters. Nothing. we had 0 versus 3 starters and 2 of them being extenders in addition to that. Let's March Hare, banish, trigger the White Binder here, reborn back, banish up to 3 cards from either player's grave, say goodbye to at least one of the Kirans. Chessie Cat, when banished, come back, Red Ransom, come back, banish from the deck. And that's a lot of damage, yes? We reduced the attack of Typhon with the freaking Lizard. You what, mate? 11,000 damage. Finish him. All right. Well, thank you for bringing Fire King to the event and doing well enough to get into the top 16. Also knocking a game off of Tier 0 Maliss. Are you ready? Yeah, let's go. Let's ×2 speed this. Tier 0 versus Tier 0. Abdullah was on Crystron for the TCG ban list, and now he is on Maliss, of course. It is a tournament with money on the line. People want to win money. You know, that's it. That's important. I want to make sure I run events where there is an incentive to win. You can't blame the players. You got to blame the game. So if enough people are playing what is considered to be Tier 0, then that's me doing my job. My job is also to ensure that players want to play my event and people want to watch my content. So beyond this new day pack release, we could run a custom ban list from here on out. Any ideas of what the players would enjoy? We can maybe not slaughter the deck, but ban Dormouse and maybe ban Ryzeal. If we ban those 2 cards, would that be a fun enough event to play where we're probably still going to see the decks, but they're not going to be as prevalent, right? That could be a good event idea. The next event, just Maxi, Ryzeal, and Dormouse banned. I'm not trying to, again, I'm not trying to kill them off, but they would be severely neutered. And I would really like feedback from the players. Would you want to be playing that? Banish the Dormouse Reborn, MTP, search, and I already know, so a lot of people are gonna say that's not enough. Sure. But it could be enough to diversify the top 16 much more than it is. GWC, banish Dormouse and bring it back. We have, or banish the White Rabbit, that is. Dormouse banish in the deck, the March Hare. March Hare add back to the hand here. We do have Nibiru. So that's one good upside here of potentially seeing a blowout with the Nibiru. Yep, let's wipe it up before they go into a Red Ransom or White Binder play. Well done. And of course, we're going to further extend from that. Does Abdullah even play a Link Spider? Abdullah is not on Link Spider. We're going to Call by the Grave, Finger the White Binder as the March Hare is non-target, attempting to banish the Binder here. Not today. Let's see what else we get. We are going to White Rabbit being banished by the March Hare, resummon itself back on the field, set up the GWC. Let's back up Ignister since we control the Link Decoder from the extra deck, searching for the Wizard. Send to the grave the Mouse and Mirror. Whatever the Wizard reborns is not negated, it's fully activatable. Let's Red Ransom, summon, Chainlink block with the Link Decoder, reborn back onto the field, searching for the Mouse and Underground. Let's link all 3 into the Heart's Cryptor. Heart's Cryptor, return back a banished card, non-target banished card in the field. Let's further go into a crazy access code talker. How new is this access code talker? I either forgot this came out or it just came out. What the heck? Boost? Tell me this is new, right? Non-target wipe, it just came out new today. Great. Heart's Cryptor back onto the field. Non-target banish pop again. As we're going to Wizard, change the battle position of the March Hare. What? With just this, it wasn't lethal damage, but the Wizard actually gave lethal damage. Nuts. Why does it have that random, mostly irrelevant effect? Interesting. Interesting. This could flip down a face-down monster, right? You could banish this card from the field or grave, target a monster your opponent controls, change its battle position. Even if face down, flip it up. 1-0. Dormouse plus a bluff. That GWC is fake. Not even activatable unless we already have a banished card or engrave. We have no disruption whatsoever. Do we have the Cryptor? We have 2 non-target banishes, return a monster back, double monster negate, negate a monster with impermanence. Lancia's in the freaking hand for some reason. We also have Max C. Ash can stop MTP, or is forced to stop Max C, unfortunately. Negate. Negate the negate. Negate the MC through the negate. Return it back, mate. Dodge the negate. Just like that, Firewall Dragon, returning Max C's to dodge the finger. No negate, return back. Apollo, negate. The Ash. An interesting chain link situation there. Very nice. Let's Dormouse. As the Apollo is going to negate, we could still extend with the Sark, extend with the backup Ignister. Extension number 1. We have 1 more after this if this fails. We're going to be adding the March Hare. March Hare is a combo piece and extender as we further link off the Dormouse into the Lingariba, which could pin down the MTP. Lancia is going to ruin this. But now, Lancia's turning off our own ability to banish them. We can't banish with Cryptor. We can't banish with MTP under the effect of our own Lancia. Lancia goes both ways. Let's Reborn onto the field. Imperm negate the Lingariba mate. Ignister backup is here. Ash is going to negate the final 4. Yeah, we can't have a March Hare. Bro, you are still on Lancia? You gotta be freaking kidding me. Fluid loss, Ash, negate. In fact, Gianna was telling me a lot of people submitting their top 16 lists, even ones that were saying, here's my Maliss deck. What were they saying? They said stuff like, F Maliss! F Maliss while submitting a Maliss deck list to Gianna for the top 16. Let's go into Allied Code Talker Ignister. Activate to Reborn from Engrave our red Ransom, ensuring that we keep the Binder Engrave. This has to summon as much as it can, so if you force it on the far left or far right, it can only summon 1 body. Keeping the Binder Engrave. Let's swing in the Magnum Hut to be funny. Very funny. All right, let's hop into another match. We have Ryzeal going first. Ash, negate. And we're going to have to finger that Lancia. They don't have a way to protect their Lancia from being fingered. They may have to draw 2 instead of taking control with the Talents, but the Talents could take control of the Detonator, which could be great. Let's call it the Grave, finger the Lancia. Unfortunately, the Talents is still not activatable. Even with them activating 2 monster effects, it was not within our main phase. And now we drew into a starter/extender with the Gold Sark, which is much better than the Field Spell. Field Spell gets destroyed as the Detonator wipes it away. Normal the backup, search for a White Rabbit. Let's discard the White Rabbit, which the Wizard can Reborn or Splash Mage. Lingaribo's gonna pin down the Plasma Hole, stopping it from popping. Wizard's gonna attempt to Reborn. Now, in order to summon Wizard, you have to have a Cybers from the extra deck on the field. Does this stop our summon? Let's read it. If you control a monster that was summoned for the extra deck, you met the activation requirement. It no longer has to be there. It does not prevent the summon. Activation requirement fulfilled. Cross is going to negate the Wizard anyway. We can now draw 2 or take control. We're taking control. Well, the detonator will pop itself. We'll take control of the duo drive, and then the plugin will reborn back the duo drive, giving it 2 more pops, in addition to a pop at the plasma hole and a pop again. You have 4 forms of disruption still. Why? Crazy. Let's reborn with pop, 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 pop. 4 pops. Can we play through 4 pops? Wizard is a hard once return that has already been used up. Maliss and Mirror is activating here to banish the White Rabbit. White Rabbit, I don't believe has been banished yet, so that will be summoning as we search for a March Hare extender. When the White Rabbit activates, we're probably going to pop it mates. Yes, we will. And we have pop, pop, pop. 3 more pops. So we were activating the on-summon effect of Ryzeal to attach in the grave. We weren't popping the duo drive. March Hare didn't pop the GWC. Further going to Little Knight. Little Knight it up. Activate on summon to banish away the field spell. We're going to detonator, pop the back row GWC, and chain Plasma Hole to pop the Little Knight. Little Knight could just change the Plasma Hole to now pop the detonator. And now the detonator's not going to gain the 4th pop through the Plasma Hole, resolving and giving the detonator that additional pop. So we're now done popping. The pops are gone, but so are our plays. Back to Ryzeal. Ice gonna give it to you. We're gonna chain banish and then be like, oh wait. Let's hop into game 2. Corellia. Draw a Persona for the hand. I don't think so. Ash, negate. What do we have, mate? Let's follow this up. Dormouse, banish the March Hare. We have cross out designate to potentially negate that Fool loss. We have a starter extender with the Mouse and Underground. We're not even caring to negate the Fool loss, which we very likely are playing in our deck. Search the mirror, set pass, and we're good. We're gonna be able to negate a monster effect, non-target banish. We also have the Ash Blossom negate interaction with the deck. We can consider the Call by the Grave also as a form of disruption, so about 4 forms of disrupt. Anything important in Grave? Not really. Let's 7th Tachyon. We're going to negate the search. You can't be reliably saving the Ash Blossom for the duo drive. They could too easily set up a Ryzeal cross and negate it. We're going to normal summon Sword. That is a sign of desperation. And of course we want to negate that. Taking us into game 3. I think Melito quit. Yeah, Melito quit the game. Let's Maliss White Rabbit set up our MTP. We got Fualos and Ash here. Well, we have double ban. We have Cryptor, MTP, non-target banish. We're gonna negate anything with the allied code talker Ignis. We're gonna negate any monster effect with the Maliss and Mirror. We can finger a card in Grave. Let's see what's good. Ryzeal is a decent board break. We're gonna put the aggregator on the higher chain link to protect the Ryzeal. Finger the aggregator. Thus, the allied code talker is still gonna be activatable. We're going to Maliss and Mirror, negate, and just like that, mate, let's hop into game number 2. Well done, Mugiwara. Send a duo drive with the Ryzeal, imperm, negate. Now, Fool loss is an extender within Ryzeal only, pretty much, because we can make a duo drive off of this. This is why you want to normal summon your ice before an Ryzeal, forcing them to use Impulse or Imperm onto that instead. If you put them in a scenario where they could use Imperm first and then Impulse, you then lose your body for free. And you may be thinking, losing your body did not matter here. Well, if we still had Node on the field and it was just negated, the plugin during the opponent's turn would summon a second level 4, and then the Plasma Hole would exceed with those 2 level 4s, which could be a Baguska, which we now can't make. We got pop, 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 pop. We have at least 5 pops. One of them could be a negate plus an imperm mate. 6, 7 disruptions here. 8 if we count the Call by the Grave. You, what, mate? GWC into the back row. This is what happens when you have 2 starters and none of them are built-in extenders. It would have been much better if the Dormouse were a backup Ignister, a field spell. Well, the field spell would just get popped by the detonator. Being a gold Sark would have been great. Even a wizard extender could have been better. Damn. Well, good job, Nicky boy. Let's hop into game 3. Maybe a day will come with the Yu-Gi-Oh! With the more modern cards and better ban lists where extenders will be good enough to extend through fully built turn 1 fields. If they are inevitably going to play through whatever you throw at them, just hold it. Maxi. I'm going to chain my own Maxi. Now, if they finger my Maxi, they're also fingering themselves. That is what we're ensuring there. We're going to try to break the field with the Ryzeal, chainlink block the Ryzeal from being potentially negated by like an Apollo or an allied code Ignister. We're going to use the Firewall Dragon to return the aggregator back before being negated. What did we accomplish here? A node Ryzeal now cannot be special summoned. It does not care about Ryzeal cards. It only cares about an Xyz being on the field or in the grave. We're gonna grab a sword off of the X, and the sword cares about there being a Ryzeal. Now we can't special summon sword. There is no Ryzeal in grave, no Xyz on the field, nor Ryzeal anywhere. So we're gonna be following up with a bonfire. Ash is going to negate. We can call by the grave if we wanted to. We're not. Hold it. Now, why don't we finger the Ash? We don't want to finger ourselves because our own Ash would then get fingered, which we have saved for an MTP. We're going to normal the Star Ryzeal, which did not opt them into banishing it, which I think we should have to stop the sword from being summoned. But since we have so many forms of disruption, we don't even care. Sure, special summon your sword alongside it, but I'm not going to allow you to Xyz. We could have saved our impermanence. We did not have to imperm the sword. We could have just banished the Star Ryzeal, and then sword is stuck in our hand. We are now going to Call by the Grave, finger the White Rabbit. So we have the Call by the Grave, fingering the Rabbit, stopping the MTP. Ash also stopping the MTP if they already had it in the back row, which they don't. Let's now main phase 2, Exciton Knight. This is going to non-target destroy the entire field if the opponent has more cards than you do, and of course they do, but imperm, negate. Now, Exciton is not a hard once per turn, but it cannot be used again in the same chain. Thus, the card being fully negated, we cannot wipe the field again, or at least attempt to do so. We can during the opponent's turn, but only within the battle phase. Nicky boy, valiant effort, my friend. Thank you. And yeah, he changed his name to I Hate Maliss. I think it should show here. No? Well, it's on the replays. Let's hop into another one. Again, Lancia suspecting the opposing player is on Maliss when he is not. He now thinks he successfully ended a Maliss player's turn 1, but they actually had no starter play whatsoever. Remember we were talking about the 3 types of cards here? This dude's entire hand is just hand traps. That's it. Full loss in response. We're going to chain Max freaking C. As you do want to throw out the Full Loss first. Maybe they'll finger it, maybe they'll Ash it, and then you throw out the better hand trap later. Always try to bait with the worst one, as we now have Sylvie. Sylvia is going to be able to negate the Nibiru. We are on Voiceless. Purge the Wanted Seeker from searching. No Diablo Star added to your hand. Now, since we activated our Maxi and Full Loss in the main phase, we can triple Tactics Talent, and of course we will, to look at that hand. That hand, let's remove the starter. Blessing is not a starter. Well, I guess you could count it as like a 2-card combo with something. You need a true starter to make a play with that. Return the starter back on the deck. Purge into the back row. Sylvia is ready to negate whatever starter play they have. What the heck? Brick? Brick? Hand trap, hand trap, hand trap? Normal summoned the Poplar, which the Purge could have negated and destroyed, but we're going to Droll and Lockbird instead. We're going to chain pop the Poplar with our Kieran, trigger Garunix to Reborn from Engrave, which will possibly pop a Kieran from the deck to then Reborn the Garunix and then non-target pop a card in the field. This is it. No, we didn't pop a Kieran. Are we at a... I mean, Kieran is at 3 now. Sure. Lethal damage. That's all we need. We didn't have to do some sort of... Well, we would need another Fire King to Reborn with the Kieran we popped from the deck. I don't think we had one. So the Garunix being on field with no other Fire King, thus we're not able to trigger the effect to get poppin'. Let's hop into game 2. Voiceless Voice. Did a Voiceless card get revealed to the opponent? Does he know that he's playing against Voiceless? We know, but does he know? Are you ready? Got starter. Let's do it. Unfortunately, both of these starters are tied to the normal summon generally. Game 3, begin. Send the Ash for Diablo Star. Diablo Star, we're going to be responding with the Fua loss before the set. As we call by the grave, finger the Fua. We still have Purge, Droll, Nibiru, and we do have a starter this time. So we're in a great spot. Almost an ideal turn 2 hand would be 1 starter, of course, 3 to 4 hand traps, and then the other card maybe being an extender, or just 4 hand traps and 1 starter, which is what we have. 4 hand traps, 1 starter. With 1 starter and no extender, there you do run the risk of them having at least 1 card to stop your starter. Let's Droll and Lockbird disallow further adding from the deck. Deception's going to set during the end phase. They just have max C. We don't perform that many special summons. We have 2 starters here. We can consider the barrier as a starter and extender. Saphira is going to be searching our deck for our Skull Guardian. As we now low set up the blessing, Saphira activate to ritual summon, chain the max C. And if we use the low for the ritual summon, it would want to Reborn from Engrave. So instead, we're going to be tributing off the Nibiru. We're going to lose 1 form of disruption just to ensure they don't draw an additional card. Now, Lancia is great against Voiceless to stop Saphira, which we already used. So it's now too late. To battle we go. We have an Omni Negate. And on a summon, we'll trigger the effect of Blessing to summon a Sarvis, which will be able to negate an inherent special summon. Well, the Imperm would not be usable even if there were no cards in our back row because our monster's untargetable. Negating and destroying Deception is great. You want to Ogre this, you want to Ash this, you want to Skull Guardian, negate. Imperm dead. You have the original Sinful activating to search our deck, and once you summon, that will trigger the Blessing. And the low is going to give us a 3rd form of disruption. So we had negate and destroy, negate a special summon, and we're going to get the trap that pops multiple cards in the field. We already used up 1, we have 2 more. With the Radiance, we're ready to get poppin'. Fire King Sanctuary is here. We're going to pop it right here, right now, take out the Poplar and the Sanctuary. Sanctuary will not be able to play the Fire King Island now. Poplar triggering to put itself into the back row. Set the Imperm Pass, which cannot be used on any monster. The barrier is protecting all like monsters from being targeted, while we have a low and a ritual. Just like that. Let's go. Voiceless became more prevalent before Ryzeal came out because Maliss was the sole best deck. Now that Maliss received a second wave of support and even more Maliss players will be playing as Ryzeal is going to go down, it is the second chance to bring your Voiceless deck back out. Voiceless obviously not good against Ryzeal. We have all these continuous spell and traps that get popped by the Detonator, but there should be less Detonator overall. And I would say Voiceless is now kind of an option if you're looking for a different deck to play. Maliss and Underground. We're going to chain Lancia, which this is risky. If we had another Maliss monster in hand, we could have chained March here. We'd have at least 2 bodies, which could then go into a Ransom, which could be at least 2 forms of disruption. More Regenesis. This is what I'm talking about. MTP searching for the Dormouse, and the field spell being stuck on the field stops us from even being able to use our Fua loss. Boo-hoo for Maliss here. as we're going to reveal summon, as once they have them on the field, what do we do with these cards exactly? This is going to on summon add a Regenesis card. This is going to have the ability of you contribute this card, target a monster your opponent controls, return to the hand whenever you want. And then also the Regenesis Sage has the effect of when your opponent activates a card or effect, send one other Regenesis card from the hand or field to negate the activation and destroy. We got 2 disruptions plus a searcher, and now we're going to further commit. And does the activation have to be on the field? Does it matter where it is? Before I could read the card, the field is blowing up. Let's see. Card or effect anywhere. Nibiru, hand trap, negate, great. Just like that, Regenesis taking a game 1 victory. Regenesis Blue Eyes. With the underground, we're going to be banishing the Dormouse. Dormouse is here. We're going to want to imperm negate. Do consider setting your own impermanence before doing this. We've seen previously in today's event when people have a back row card, they're not using imperm, they're not using Veiler. Now, if you're okay with them negating your Dormouse, then it's okay, because we did have the extender through the Chessie Cat. Banish Reborn. And from here, let's make our full wham bam thinking ma'am. My binder, banish, binder, set up the MTP, set. We do have a non-target banish. We have an imperm negate. We also have draw and lock bird mate. Regenesis off of adding. You now can no longer add for the rest of this turn. Lordy Load, adds, can't be used. Sage, adds, can't be used. Regenesis Archfiend, adds, can't be used. 3 of our cards have been completely turned off. MTP? What? This banishes a card in the field. What are we? Okay, we can't use it after the draw resolves. Okay, all right, sure. Let's banish our own binder. Binder comes back. It can't draw a card, but we're going to banish the Regenesis from the graveyard. Does that have an engrave effect that we cared about? We are going to reveal, add from the grave banishment or deck. Wait a second. You helped them. Add a Regenesis from the deck or banishment, not the grave, and you banished their card from the grave so that they could add it back. Whoops. Regenesis Dragon, if we control a 2500 on the field, special summon. And we have the quick effect to tribute this card to target a back row and banish it. On the activation of a newly activated underground, we could chain banish to stop it. March Hare, banish the binder here. Binder come back as we draw a card. We do have the effect to banish from either player's graveyard, banishing our 2 Dormouse and Chessie Cat. We're going to draw on Lockbird. No more adding for the rest of this turn for you, which we, of course, very likely would have wanted to set MTP and possibly even use it this turn. We do got to be careful with the Regenesis Dragon being able to pop whatever back where they want. If we were to make a red ransom search for the underground, they could save the pop for that. Even under the effect of draw, we should very easily win this, though. Dormouse banish. We do have access to an access code talker play whenever we want. We're also making the Apollo USA. Normal summon and Ash Blossom. Further go into the Link Decoder first. And now we make our Cryptor. Trigger the Decoder, Reborn, Cryptor, return back the White Rabbit, non-target banish a card in the field. You don't tell them until resolution. We can't decide to chain the Regenesis once they're choosing to banish our Regenesis Dragon. To battle, goodbye to the Regenesis Dragon. 300 to the face. We do have GWC, which can, this was the turn it was set, right? Banish, come back, further boosted, Reborn, lethal damage with the Cryptor plus the binder. Game 2 victory, but now Regenesis gets to go first. Regenesis going first, but it is also with Blue Eyes. We have normal summon draw, making the Spirit with Eyes of Blue, searching for the Mausoleum, draw and Lockbird. You can't further add, but this is not very good. We're going to send a Blue Eyes from the deck to the graveyard. No real Blue Eyes plays, no real Regenesis plays. What the heck is this? Reborn the blue, set a Purge, then pass. Purge would turn off Dark Water and Fire if used from the hand. We have Maxi plus Purge. They cannot stop our Maxi. So there's Cope that there will be another turn. Banishing the Chessie, activate the C as we are committed to that special summon, giving us off the top of our deck, come to me, a Regenesis code. Can we make it to the next turn? Purge, negate the Chessie. Do we have a trap and grave to destroy the Chessie? No, we do not. It is still on the field. Drex may be planning a way to lethal damage with a Cryptor. As we banish the White Rabbit come forth back onto the field. White Rabbit is going to set up the GWC, and this is it. Cryptor does not have a banished card to banish the Blue Eyes with. GWC can reborn, giving us more damage, plus this will be at, what, 5,600? 5,100, right? 56. 56 plus 18. 58. So the Cryptor alone is not lethal damage mate, but then the White Rabbit off of the GWC is game. Damn. We almost kind of saw some Regenesis plays from Regenesis. Thank you. Let's hop in another one. So close. And that was the top 16. One of the top 16 players that was playing Maliss had to go and do something, maybe fold laundry or I don't know. But we are now hopping into the top 8, grand finale, and top deck list in the very next video. I'll see you there. Let's go.